I read 6 books this month and I thought I'd share my thoughts on them. I've been in a bit of a reading slump and I would blame that fully on this book. I started this back mid-December and I only managed to finish it middle of this month. This book just ended up being such a slog for me. I love how Sally Rooney writes, but it can be a little bit slow, and I think this book was just too long for how slow it was. I didn't care that much about the characters, just not my favourite Sally Rooney book. Then I went on to read Go as a River, which was a beautiful book. It's about a lady called Victoria who lives in Colorado on a peach farm, and about her life living with racism, sexism, and much more. It reminds me a bit of Where the Crawdads Sing, so if you did like that, I think you'd really like this as well. I then wanted something light, and so I moved on to Stanley Tucci, What I Ate in 1 Year. I had read Stanley Tucci's other book, Taste, which I really enjoyed, but this one was just not for me. Turns out, reading about what someone ate in a year, quite boring. There are pages of just ingredients. He name drops quite a lot in this. There just wasn't anything new or exciting. It might be the sort of book that you can flick through and read a couple of pages, but reading it cover to cover was a bit painful and just not my favourite. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. So I wanted something light, so I went for David Nicholls' You Are Here, which was lovely. It was exactly what I needed. It's a bit predictable, if I'm honest. It's about Michael, who is a geography teacher, and Martine. They both go on a hike with some mutual friends, and it's just about how their relationship blossoms. I would only give this a 4 out of 5 just because it was predictable, but sometimes that is exactly what I need. Then I moved on to The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This was heartbreaking. I cried so much throughout this. It's about 2 sisters in France during World War II. I learnt so much from this book, and I had my heart broken like numerous times, but what I loved about this book was that it really managed to surprise me as well. So I'd definitely give this one a 5 out of 5. It was beautiful. And then finally I moved on to Water by John Boyne, which is a nice thin one. It's about a lady called Vanessa who arrives at an island just off island, and when she gets there she changes her name, and we learn about what has kind of happened within her family over the last couple of years. It's definitely a sad one. I love how water comes into this. It's spoken about quite lightly, but it is still such an integral part of the book, which I loved, and John Boyne just writes beautifully. I think because it is quite a short book, it's probably even shorter than it appears to be. You don't really get to fall in love with the characters maybe as much as you do with slightly longer books. So because of that, I'd only give this a 4 out of 5, but still a great book, and I really look forward to reading the other books in this series. And then the book I'm currently reading, and will probably finish just before the end of the month, I'm not sure if I'm loving it at the moment. I am enjoying it, but it's quite a sad book, I would say. So I'm 50% of the way through, and I will let you know my thoughts when I finish it. But what I'm looking for now is a nice light read, still engaging and beautiful. So if you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments.